All right, so growing up, I've had three major health things that I personally, three major health things I personally dealt with over my life, and I like to talk about these. I'm a healthcare provider. I've helped a lot of people with a lot of things and a lot of health issues, but I like to talk about the things I personally felt and personally dealt with, and those three things are going to be acne, psoriasis, and irritable bowel or digestive issues, digestive inflammation. Along with that came back pain here and there and things like that. But really those three things are the areas that I feel like I've become an expert in. One, because I learned about how to help people and I've helped a lot of people, but number two is because I've actually experienced them and helped get rid of them for myself. So I know what you're dealing with when you deal with it. Today, I want to dive back into psoriasis, and I've done a ton of videos on psoriasis, some of the things I've talked about in other videos, but I just like to keep adding more to it because for some of you, you do those things and you don't see the full answer. And I'll tell you that it's an investigation. So I look at it as the more of these videos I shoot, the more different tips I can give you, the more investigation tools I can give you, the more likely you're going to be able to figure out what it is for you. And so I'm just going to keep adding to it and keep putting things out there on what it's going to be that's going to help you with psoriasis. So I'm going to give you the 5 things. Again, 5 things that I'm going to say, remove these 5 things. If you have already removed these 5 things, I'm gonna tell you what to do next. But first step, just get these things out of your diet. And please don't give me a comment and saying all you can eat is air. And please don't give me a comment that it's too tough and you can't do it. I know you can do it. I worked with enough people that have done it. It's all about getting your mind wrapped around it and giving it time and being consistent. It's not about doing it all at once. It's just being about making the change and consistently going back to it until it sticks, okay? So I know everybody can do it, and know you can, and yes, you can eat more than just air, and know your life's not gonna end. Food is not your life. I know some people think it is. I grew up in Texas. I grew up on near the Texas-Louisiana border. Some of the best, unhealthiest food on the planet is down there, and I grew up eating that. So to say I have to stop eating that fun food, I don't want to stop eating that fun food. I just want to learn how to make it healthy. And so you learn how to do that in the process. So the 5 things for getting rid of psoriasis, if you haven't started, number 1 is going to be remove, and I say it every time, but I'm going to start with it because it's the most, when I believe from what I've seen, it's the most important, is gluten. Get gluten out of your diet, take out and it really, to be honest guys, take the grains out of our diet. They're not that healthy for us. There are some health benefits, but the majority of it is going to be filled with glyphosates. At the end of the life cycle of wheat and grains and oats and all these different grains, cereal grains, they spray it down with glyphosate to dehydrate it so it doesn't mildew. So it's toxic. Not only is it very little nutritional value, it's very toxic for our body. And then you take the gluten in there and our body sees that gluten and it says, oh no, there's gluten in the body. Let's get rid of it. It's an infection. It didn't really say that. It just sees it as an infection, and then it causes the gut lining to gap open, causes a leaky gut. Inflammatory responses start to kick into gear. You start getting things like food allergies. You start getting autoimmune diseases. If you're someone with psoriasis, that means you have a genetic SNP to psoriasis, so your body shifts into that mode of producing too much skin, and we see it as flakes and pain, and even can get into the joints and cause psoriatic arthritis for a percentage of people as well. So take out gluten. It's not necessary. It isn't that good. It's okay. I mean, it's bread, right? And I say that from a standpoint of, I've been doing this for over 15 years. I've been eating this way for over 15 years. And I get it. It wasn't easy in the beginning, but now I don't even think about it. And that will happen to you too. And you will be just fine with it if you give it time. It's not a 2-month, 3-month, 4-month plan. It's a lifestyle that you're gonna shift. Remove gluten from your diet because it's toxic and it's not good for your body. Number 2 is seed oils. These things, again, are very toxic as well. It's all about removing the things that cause inflammation. So seed oils are gonna cause inflammation in your gut and in your entire body because of the imbalance it creates in fatty acids, certain fatty acids in our body. We want an omega-6 to omega-3 ratio, or omega-3 to omega-6 ratio of about 1 to 2, 1 to 3 in our body, and these seed oils just throw that out of balance to about a 1 to 20 ratio and become very inflamed. It inflames our cells. Our cell walls get so backed up that they aren't getting rid of toxins out of the cell anymore. You start to get denaturing of a DNA. You start to get cancers, but it also, that chronic inflammatory response pushes you into psoriasis or that autoimmune disease. And it does that by overfiring what they call the Th1 immune response. Most of the supplements and things I teach people in terms of how to get rid of their psoriasis when I'm working with them individually or in our psoriasis course is how do you push the Th2 immune response to calm the Th1 immune response down. Different herbs and things like that help with it. Go back to the supplement videos and things like that I've talked about in the past. So number one, gluten. Number two, seed oils. Number three is going to be the other chemicals and preservatives. Everything we're doing with diet is number one, to make sure you get nutrients and minerals that you need. And number two is nutrients, vitamins and all the stuff that you need. And number two is to reduce stress. Don't add more stress by what you eat. When we eat, our body has to break it down. It creates oxidation, it creates inflammation. That's a normal part of eating. Why increase it to a massive amount like we are today, right? Eat the good food, eat real food, number one. So removing preservative-filled foods, removing the boxed foods. When you say I can't, if I go through this and I say remove gluten, remove remove dairy, remove sugars and refined sugars and preservatives and all these things, and seed oils, and you say, well, what else is there to eat? Healthy, grass-fed, free-range, organic meats, vegetables, raised the way vegetables are supposed to be raised without preservatives and chemicals on them. That's food. That's what you eat. Your healthy meats and your healthy vegetables, and you will feel better than you ever have in your life, not just seeing psoriasis start to go away, okay? So number three is remove the preservatives and chemicals. Next step on the what do you remove is gonna be nightshade vegetables. And I know that vegetables have a lot of nutrient value. The thing is with vegetables is they also have things in there that help protect them from pests, things like lectin, other things like oxalates, and things that actually for a lot of people can be very toxic. And what I mean by that is our body isn't breaking it down very well and it creates inflammation. So nightshades have been one of those types of foods that shows to do that. Other people sometimes have to go with a low oxalate diet too. So I'll kind of combine those two ideas for you right there is maybe removing things with high lectin count like nightshade vegetables, maybe even evaluating oxalate value in foods, meaning high versus low oxalate foods, like and different foods that have high oxalates in there. And because these are things that our body, many times for a lot of people, have a very hard time processing and digesting if they already have a gut issue. Okay, I'm not saying that, peppers don't have a lot of nutrients in there. I'm not saying, like avocados don't have a lot of nutrients in there. I'm just simply getting at that those are some things that for some people will create this constant inflammation, in return creating an autoimmune response like psoriasis. So it's well worth evaluating. Maybe you start out on a low lectin or a no nightshade eating plan, and then if you still haven't gotten rid of psoriasis, maybe you shift over to a low oxalate eating plan as well. Some thoughts to go through there. The final thing, so that's four of them. The final one that I'm gonna recommend is something I talk about a lot, but I don't think I do believe it's worth starting with, and that is doing a food allergy test. The food allergy test will tell you what foods create inflammation in your body. And when I say the word inflammation, what I mean is what foods create this immune response, kind of like an infection response in your body, right? So, when a virus comes into your body creates an immune response to that viral protein, and you start to maybe throw up, maybe get a fever. It just full on immune response to get it out of there, and then it tags it with an antibody to have a memory. So when it comes back, it doesn't have to many times go through all those symptoms, right? Well, the problem with that the thing is that's great, but you're not around that virus every single day, constantly trying to get rid of it, right? However, if you're eating foods that your body's gone through that same process with and created an antibody response to it, meaning every time that egg protein or that vegetable protein, whatever vegetable it might be, every time that happens, your body creates an immune response to it, and you're eating that on a regular basis, well, that's unnecessary stress on your body, creating more inflammation and making it harder on the causing the immune system to stay in that overactive state. So again, with psoriasis, our goal is to calm the immune response. To calm the immune response, you gotta stop firing off the immune response like crazy. So diet is so effective at helping with that. It's not the only answer, but it's so effective at helping with that because of that right there. It can reduce these stressors that cause this inflammatory immune response to happen. I hope that made sense. And so those 5 things right there is what I'd start with. If you've done those 5 things and you still haven't gotten the answers you're looking for, meaning it still hasn't worked. I'm talking about you need to do this for about 3 or 4 months and to see this start to reduce, okay? Then it's not gonna be the only answer. Remember, your body has to heal as well. This isn't, I wish it was like this turn a switch on, turn a switch off to get rid of problems in our body, but medicine looks at it that way, and that isn't true. That isn't reality. They can maybe give you a drug that blocks your immune system, which is what they do for psoriasis with steroids and other drugs. They can block the immune system and maybe stop this immune response, but then you're stopping your immune response. You don't want that. That's bad for cancers and other things down the road. That's why these drugs are linked to cancer. So you can't just turn a switch on and off. We have to actually work with the body, work to get the body to start healing itself again, get the body to stop creating this overimmune response instead of trying to work against the body to manipulate it with drugs, right? So that's it, guys. That's the tips I got for you today. Make those shifts, make those changes. I promise you one thing, you're gonna feel better and you're gonna actually have more energy. You're gonna know your body's getting healthier, whether you see the skin change yet or not. Give it time, keep making the changes, turn it into a lifestyle. Again, you can eat more than just air. You can actually enjoy the heck out of eating like this, because I know I do. I have for many years. If you want continual help with psoriasis, go back and watch all the other videos that I've done on psoriasis first. We have a free 5-day course you can get as well. If you want that, just put in the comments, get me the course. If you want the diet or eating plan that I recommend in terms of what foods should you eat if you have psoriasis, say, I want the eating plan, I'll give you that PDF. It's all about just giving you as much as I can for you to be able to get these results. And then if you get the results, or when you get the results, please share that with me and connect with me on that. If you want individual help with your psoriasis, you can simply go to the links below and schedule a consult with me. We can talk, okay? But for most people, if you haven't made any of the changes I'm talking about right now, then we gotta do that first, all right? All right, you guys have an awesome day. Subscribe to the channel, and we'll talk to you next time.